Hi quilters! So today what we're going to do is some wavy cross-hatching. At times it's really nice to create a cross-hatch across your quilt, and it's hard as a free motion quilter without sometimes using a ruler or putting on your walking foot. So an easy alternative is to make that whole grid system wavy. So what I've done today is I've actually marked some 1-inch increments around the outside of my block, and I'm going to use those just to help me eyeball in where to start and where to finish. And once we get the grid done across this in our wavy lines, then I'm going to show you some alternatives to take it up a notch or two and how to embellish that grid and give you a few more design ideas. So let's get started quilting on the wavy lines. It's really pretty basic, and then we'll do some embellishments. I have all my vertical lines done, so now I'm working on my horizontal. And I didn't turn my fabric to do my horizontal, because if you had a big quilt on, you would not just turn it to go the other direction. You could, but depending on where you are on the quilt, you're doing free motion, so just go in the area and just work from side to side. Kind of the same thing. I need to keep in control, need to bring my hands over so there's no problem with pausing. I'm going to run up outside my seam allowance or in my seam allowance and then go the other direction. So it's kind of creating this wonky grid, which is an artistic creation, or it just makes you look better than trying to do a straight line in free motion. So I finished my whole crosshatch wavy design, and it's really rather cute on the square. So now, if I wanted to add a little more depth to it, I'm actually going to make a double curvy line. So I'm going to come over about 1/8 of an inch parallel to each line and double up that line. So I'm going to do that for part of the block so you can see that difference. And it gives just a little bit more depth to the block. So I'm eyeballing my 1/8 of an inch. And if I want to pause, I'm actually going to pause when I have a horizontal line coming across my vertical. So on a line, that way you may not see the pause as much. But I'm just paralleling, and I'm going to do my vertical lines first. And I would be somewhat consistent on what side of the line. So I had come down on the left side of my previous line. I'm going to go back up on the left side of the next line. And as you can see, it's a little harder going up. You may want to break thread and come back down because your presser foot's in your way to see where you're going as much. But always look out in front of yourself. Yeah, I'm much better coming down and paralleling towards me. It's probably worth doing that. So I'm going to do one more coming down, and then we're going to switch to the horizontal line so you can kind of see that look. You're just eyeballing it and swooshing on down. I'm going to go ahead and start some horizontal. So because my initial grid was 1 inch, I don't want these lines more than 1/8 of an inch apart. If I had made a little bit larger grid, 1/4 inch on these lines would be rather nice, and that would be easy to achieve, especially with a ruler foot on. Remember, a ruler foot is 1/4 inch from your needle to the edge of the foot, so you could make 1/4 inch parallel lines really quite easily, even in free motion. So I do recommend, if you have a ruler foot, this time give it a try instead of your hopping foot. It's a little bit different feel, but we still put our feed dogs down when we put our ruler foot on. We do change the pressure of our presser foot pressure. We lighten up, like I lightened up mine all the way up to a 2. It went from, I believe, a 45 to a 2. So I took that pressure off. And what's happening is we don't get a hopping motion, so it's a little more consistent. Also, when you set your presser foot height, you want to be able to move your sandwich underneath that foot. You don't want any drag. So those are some of the tips from video 1 that Corinne did to get you set up for rulering. Whoops. Talking and not watching where I'm going. I'm drunk again. Okay. Anyway, got a little oopsie daisy there. So, we've really kind of developed this double wavy line, especially down on this end. You can really see that double wavy line. It's kind of cute. So, that's one way to enhance the crosshatch grid. Another way will be we're going to do a basket weave pattern. And I'll cut thread here, and then we'll get started on that basket weave look. So to do the basket weave, we're going to do little short vertical lines within a square and then come over and do horizontal lines, always ending at the next block. So we're going to work our way across the quilt block, and then we're going to go vertically up and down and horizontally. So we're traveling along our stitched wavy line that we already created in that grid. So I'm going to go vertically, travel over, making them about 1/8 of an inch apart. It's going to be your choice how dense you want those lines. If I put one more in here, then I'm going to travel across the bottom of this curvy grid and then start doing my horizontals. I'm going to come up about 1/8 of an inch and then go horizontally. Travel up, horizontal. So I'm creating a basket weave design. Try to stay when you're traveling on the previously sewn crosshatch. You can put them as close as you want. It's going to be your taste that, kind of drives that. You don't want them so wide apart that you want probably at least 4 lines in that 1-inch grid. So I've got vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. So now I'm set up to do vertical lines again. Travel over and then parallel the curve that was there. So you can either make your basket weave lines wiggly or try to keep them a little just parallel to the other curve. Tends to look pretty nice. So I'm going to come down a row. So you would work all the way across and then come down a row and work the next row. I'm going to travel along my line so that I then can start up here going vertical. And travel across my line very well. Actually get down onto your line for the best look. Look down in that presser foot and get yourself lined up. So vertical, and then the next line down is horizontal. So the horizontal ones up here have vertical lines down below them, and we start getting that really nice basket weave look. So here's a look at where I've made the basket weave and the double wavy line, and they both are actually pretty cute. If you think about it, you wouldn't put the basket weave inside the double wavy line because you'd lose your double lines, but give them a try. They are simple enough to make you feel pretty confident that you're getting the hang of this free motion quilting. Until next time, happy quilting and keep at it. Bye-bye.